Hi Scorpio, this is your reading. So I'm going to do a bit of a, I don't know if this is going to be relevant or not, but might have been some kind of loss, maybe about work, but with all loss, there's new opportunities, right? And so I don't know how that like relates and whether that's work, but if it's not work, it'd be something that you've invested some time into. Okay, I'm going to do a 6 card spread about Jupiter. Okay, so Jupiter just went direct. It is a larger planet, so it will take, you know, a bit of time for it to really kind of go in motion. But I mean, it has been in retrograde for, 4 months. Okay, and so you might have done a lot of things about kind of defending, your personal abundance. Like what is, again, if it was, the Eight of Pentacles, what would come after is the Nine of Pentacles. So it's like, now that you've invested, all this time, like say if you were an apprentice, and, the Nine of Pentacles, like, okay, now I'm going to take that step. With my own business, for example, be an entrepreneur. And you might have been like, no matter what anyone else says, I'm going to do it. Okay. So with Jupiter now going, like with it being retrograde, there's been a lot of reflection, and so, what has been kind of like the issue that, Scorpios have been dealing with, like what have they been learning with, now that things have been, going direct. Okay, we now have, we're going to start seeing things, if we did the reflection, we did the hard work, we went with the flow, you know, like, there probably was a lot of restrictions that we had to kind of face, and so it's like, what did Scorpio, need to kind of recover with? And so I have actually already, the cards ready. Okay. So again, so now that we've had the reflection, the revision, it's like now there's going to be less resistance. You're seeing probably the path a little bit more clearer. As I say that, I turn over the Six of Swords. Okay, that is okay on a mental side. Okay, with air energy, thoughts or communications, our words. It's like swords bring that clarity, that truth, but they can be sharp, especially if there was conflict. Like this represents moving into calmer waters. Look at that swan. It's like it makes me think of, at least in Toronto, with Centerville. Is it Centerville? I think of Centerville. And you have the swans, but I'm sure these swans like exist elsewhere, and you like they're mechanical, and you take them like around or whatever kind of thing. I have this like one picture of me eating like two, and I'm just like, so I think I wanted to like drive it or something. Like I don't know. I can't remember if you could. Anyways, but this is representing like after a time of conflict, like moving into the calmer waters, balancing those thoughts, like I mean, how like this is the first time I've seen the Six of Swords in this deck. This is a brand new deck. It just happened to be what I had nearby. Like I moved and then like new things came like, oh yeah, I remember buying this like 6 months ago, like probably around the time Jupiter went retrograde and I lost it, and now that it's gone, direct, I found it. Who knows? Anyways, but like I like this, this like interesting. Okay, I was gonna say, like a lot of times they show the Six of Swords with like another person, and I don't know if you can see when I put it in the light. There's actually like an image. It's kind of like leaving, those ghosts behind you. That like, you've dealt with it. And it's like I'm moving forward, and like how it's kind of like it splits the swords three and three. Okay, three swords in tarot is that heartbreak, that disappointment, right? Okay, because I mean, like, Three of Swords is that disappointment. Four of Swords is kind of like healing a little bit, but then when you get the Five of Swords, it's like, okay, I don't want that heartbreak again. I'm going to come out swinging. I'm going to fight for what I want, fight for, like, what I know is true for me. Like it may cause, some hurt words, kind of thing, like hopefully, you try to like lower it to the minimum, like we don't know what happened here, but this is now moving into, calm water. Okay, so that's kind of underneath the deck, and so it's been, I guess, the theme. So I mean, the question has really been also about Two of Swords. So that's the indecision. That is being between the two minds. Like maybe it's like, okay, Three of Swords. Three of Swords is like, okay, maybe any option. All options seem like undesirable. Maybe, for example, and this is kind of being in that confusion, that being that like not seeing clearly. Like you can see that she's blindfolded. There's not much light from the moon, because it's kind of like, probably waning, and like stuck between the two minds, but you can't stay there forever. Okay, so it's kind of been like the question about like, how can you get into these calmer waters from this storm? And I think that has been happening. Like, if you're not in that calmer waters yet, you will be soon, very, very soon. Okay, but this has been like the event. So you had a new opportunity. Okay, it's like, okay, maybe it's like you were kind of stuck between two minds, you didn't know how to move forward, but then the universe stepped in and offered you a brand new pentacle, something that's tangible, something that can really grow into abundance, something that can grow into like, or at least has that opportunity depending on how you take it, and then like, I mean, again, there's always opportunities to jump ship, as you go up through the pentacles, but the real ones, they last, and so it's like, if you've been in this indecision, like you were presented with some type of opportunity, and it's about like new, and this can also represent travel, like over water. Like you might have had to like, maybe this again, if this is being stuck between two worlds, two minds, like, do I take this new opportunity? Do I not? Do I stay where I am? Like, I mean, it could mean that you actually have to physically move, in order to get this kind of like, what's this behind this? Look at the Nine of Wands. It is the Nine of Wands. So, like, you had to take that one more push, in order to get success. And you're getting it. You're seeing it. Okay, you're getting into those calmer waters. It's like, it's not over yet, but new things are brewing. Okay, and yeah, you were showing up as the Knight of Wands. Okay, that is, I like this, okay? Because I mean, you're so far have, that air, the thought, like, I mean, it might have been like a little bit of indecision, okay? But then you were presented your environment, you had some kind of practical, tangible opportunity, whether that was work, again, it's like, when I was shuffling, pre-shuffling, right? If you lost a job, it's like, okay, well, what do I do? But then like an opportunity from the above kind of was presented to you, and it's like, you've been taking action. It may seem like you haven't been, because like especially with, the retrograde, you've been trying to like move forward maybe, and then as you do, like things have been stopping. Okay, but now that as is going direct, like there's nothing that's going to stop you. Nothing stops this night. He has that fire. He's gonna go in, but I mean like, you gotta see how this goes. Like, I mean, this is getting your fire. This is going quickly, like, yeah, the spiritual lesson, like what has been like calling you from above, or like what your higher self has been telling you, your future self is the, okay, who is this? This is the Six of Pentacles. So this is about, okay, so it's a pentacle, so it's earth energy. It can represent, like time, money, charity, like this is about, okay, if you look at it, like he's very abundant. He's very well off, and you can see all these hands, like, give, give, give. So I mean, like, who are you in this situation? You know, are you the one who is, you know, super abundant and super, you know, kind of like, you know, picking and choosing who you give to, you know, like maybe you have a lot that you can give and you've been kind of holding back. And the spiritual lesson's been like, how can you give? You know, how can you know, like give your time, you know, volunteer, or how can you like donate, or, you know, kind of thing, you know? Or is it about like, you know, asking for help? You know, being that person that can like accept charity, accept, you know, a gift when it's given? Or is it about, you know, how, like that, like this is about that equal give and take? You know, are things balanced? You know, are you giving as much as you're receiving? Are you receiving as much as you're giving? Hopefully I said that the right way, but you get it. Hopefully, like if I said the same thing the same way, just reverse it, right? Okay, it's about that balance. You know, it's about like, do you feel like there's like so many like mouths to feed or something like that, you know? Anyways, but I think it's in about like that assessment, you know, and knowing that you have a lot you can offer the world, one way or another, you know, and if like if people aren't appreciating what you have to offer, for example, that they're kind of like ungrateful, there's people out there who do need you, you know, and I think you're realizing that, you have been realizing that, you have been kind of assessing, and you know, now you're kind of like balanced in that, like, I know what I need to do, what is best for everyone involved, what is balanced, you know, like what, you know, what deserves my time. Okay, like Pentacles is time and energy as well. Like, what deserves my effort? What doesn't deserve my effort? You know, and so it's like your higher self has been like telling you to assess that, you know, but you have been getting like that passion, I think, you know, but maybe it's also about like I dropped it accidentally and I was gonna actually say it. It's like, I mean, the knights don't always cross the finish line. They get distracted maybe. You know, like maybe you're about to like, you know, make something tangible, make an offer, you know, or something like that. You know, this offer is being presented to you, you know, and then like something like it could distract you maybe. You know, maybe this indecision. You know, like maybe the indecision causes you to miss a boat. However, I don't think this knight's gonna miss the boat. Both of these are about movement, moving fast. It can be again physically moving, or that inspiration, and inspiration to balance, you know, and get to like calmer waters. Okay, so your environment, your coworkers, your family, your friends, you know, how they've been influencing you during this time period. Okay, is the Four of Cups. You've been bored, kind of uninspired. So I think that's kind of been like, you know, like maybe all options at first kind of seem undesirable. It's like, you know, like if this is about, so the Three of Cups is about friendship. It's about having fun. It's about an event. You know, if the Knight of Wands is about, you know, like yourself, and like this can be the player energy that kind of like breaks hearts, you know, and you know, maybe in the process there was a Three of Cup situation, like a third party situation or whatever, but then the real love, the real opportunity is being here, and it's being like ignored, you know. So maybe, you know, the influences of friends is that like it's making you miss the real thing because you're getting like maybe stuck in drama or something like that, or they're like, you know, like chirping too much or whatever the case is, you know, maybe they're taking too much, you know, and that you're feeling uninspired, you know, or, you know, at the same time, this is also about, you know, an unexpected opportunity, you know, amongst your friends, amongst your coworkers, you know, amongst your family, you know, whoever that is, you know, but I do think though, like it is kind of going with the theme here too, if you're resonating with the whole, like your environment's kind of boring, it's like it's about movement. It can be again physically moving over water, in order to get, that ace that's been presented to you, kind of thing. It's like what deserves your time, what deserves your effort right now, at least. Okay. And then what we have is kind of like the answer, so some guidance that you could have moving forward. Okay, is the Hermit. This is the first. So this is the first major arcana that we got. So your guidance is to shine your light. Your guidance is to go that path, like with or without others. It's like he follows. Like the Hermit is known for like, again, stereotypical, definition of a hermit, but they walk their path, they can shine the light for others. The right people follow who need to follow, but it's like, I know what is right for me. I need to take this opportunity that is being presented that I know that's going to bring abundance, whether that is work or a relationship or like some kind of family thing, it's like maybe a family's been, keeping you back, in some case. Like, a lot of people make a lot of sacrifices for their family all the time, of course, but then they sacrifice their personal happiness for that, but the thing is that when you put your own happiness first, it's like the rest will follow. Everybody becomes happier, you know? And so it is about like, following that path with or without anybody. And I think you've been doing that. I think you've been assessing, okay? It's like, and throughout the retrograde, you've been trying, you've been revisiting and stuff like that, but now you know what you need to take action on, okay? You know what deserves your time. Okay, so what is the takeaway message we can give for Scorpio to help them as Jupiter moves forward? So we do have a card that already fell. Interesting. So we have the Fool. This is cool. I've never seen the Fool yet. With the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is like all over the place, okay? But it's like, again, I never used this deck before it, but I love how it's depicting the Seven of Pentacles, because it's like, a lot of tarot readers can say this is about getting your abundance. This is about seeing, like your harvest come in, but like a lot of decks in there kind of does a lot of ones I've been using. It's like I've been assessing, and it's about, like what do you still invest in, and so it's like, so that would have happened, and it has been happening, and it is still about assessing, because you do have this like this Ace of Pentacles, okay? And if you think about, okay, Ace of Pentacles is the environment. Six of Pentacles is what is like being called for me from like, above, or like spiritual self or your higher self, okay? 6 plus 1 is, 7. Okay, so it's like, okay, you've done the assessment, you know what you need to do, you know how to move forward, and you're seeing it, you're like stepping out of that, like, that like indecision, or like the, cloudiness, and so like, even if you're not a Libra, like this reading could resonate, like the Libra reading could resonate you, because a lot of the similar things are coming up. You just may be at a different stage, but you are getting that inspiration for movement, okay? And the Fool, okay, he like just goes with the like bag on his back, and he just goes for it. He just learned a major lesson, and he's willing to step into his new life, okay? And in this depiction of the Fool, like he also has a flute, just kind of guiding others, too, as well, calling others, calling people in. Or it's like, by making this leap, making this change, whether it's again just balancing the thoughts or actually physically making a movement, okay? Especially if it resonates with like over water, for example, okay? Is that if you've been finding your environment really boring, by making this change, I think, and by making this movement, it's like you can get your like soul tribe, for example. So fantastic. It looks like, you've been doing a lot of reflection, and I think you've been thinking really hard, and you're ready. Okay, you're ready. Okay, and Jupiter like going direct, and then as we move from like, now into, the end of the year, okay, and it's like the new moon is happening like September 17th, roughly. And, that is stepping through that portal, like being on the other side, it's like, are you going to step into your new life, once and for all, like what have you learned, what are you going to take with you, what are you not going to take with you, but you've done a lot of hard work, and I think you're like, stepping into something that's going to be really, really great, and it's time to make it happen. Okay. Awesome. Have a great, next 4 to 6 months or whatever. Take care. Bye.